get advice. What do I do next? How do I navigate with this amount of money? How do I navigate with my next purchase? What am I doing?
Welcome to Cards and Constellations with Bonnie Morris and Don Rumor Rivera from Sonoran Mystic Tarot. Here, we blend astrology and tarot to guide you through the twists and turns for the week ahead. Don't forget to hit subscribe and share. Let's dive into your cosmic journey together.
Hello. The moon this week on Friday, the 1st, August 1st, we have the first quarter in Scorpio at 27 degrees, 33 minutes. Now remember, during the first quarter, we do all the work on whatever project you've chosen. And to find that out, we step back and find the new moon in Scorpio. That occurred on November 1st, 2024 at 9 degrees, 34 minutes of Scorpio. So check, where do you write your intentions down? I hope you did. That will tell you what you're working on right now. Then we have to move forward and find the full moon in Scorpio. That occurs on May 1st of 2026 at 11 degrees, 20 minutes of Scorpio. That's when everything becomes lit up. You can see the whole project, and if it's not exactly what you want, you tweak it. And then we pivot and start to turn away. We have to look for the last quarter moon now in Scorpio. It happens on January 29th, 2027 at 9 degrees, 7 minutes of Scorpio. And that's where we celebrate our success and turn away, allow the project to move on by itself, and we wait for another new moon. Now, in the void, of course, we're going to take a look on July 28th. The void, of course, begins at 5:56 p.m., and that is Mountain Standard Time, Phoenix time, at 27 degrees, 32 minutes of Virgo. It ends that day at 10:43 p.m., and that's when it enters into the sign of Libra. Then again on the 29th, at 8:58 p.m., the void begins at 11 degrees of Libra. It ends on the 31st. Now, remember that. That's a long void, okay? It ends on the 31st at 10:25 a.m., and that's when it enters into Scorpio. I'll pause here and remind you, during a void, you never start a project because it likely will have to be redone. So unless you like practice, be careful. Finish up projects, fold the laundry, do the dishes, whatever it is that you can do, but don't start anything new. Okay, so we still have 5 planets in retrograde. But first, let's go to August 2nd. We have the last void at 6:06 p.m., 27 degrees, 33 minutes of Scorpio. It ends that night at 11 p.m. when it enters into Sagittarius. Again, we still have 5 planets in retrograde. Pluto's in Aquarius. Both Saturn and Neptune are still dancing in Aries and Pisces. And Mercury in Leo. Now, we also just started with Chiron in retrograde in the sign of Aries.
So, Miss Bonnie, if I hear right, it sounds like this week, no matter what sign you have, it's going to be a complicated week. Something's happening. Can you help me understand that?
Sure. This week, we start out the week, I think it starts on Tuesday. We see a kite formation. Now, a kite formation is a specific pattern formed by a grand trine, a big triangle, 3 planets. It's harmonious, it's good energy, but there's also an opposition. The point of the head of the kite to the tail, that's a tug of war. That's where things get sticky. The opposition is also linked to the other 2 planets in the grand trine. So it creates this kite shape when you look at the chart. At the end of the week, it gets even more complicated. We have 2 kites, and they're pulling us in 2 different directions.
I don't want it. I don't want it.
There's
and
also...
then you have these long voids. These long voids that
yeah.
growing longer and longer. And you, like you said before, about 2 weeks ago, we had one of the longest voids you've seen. And this week, once
It's
again,
even
we have an exceptionally long void.
Yep, absolutely. And of course, there are also a lot of squares. Now, squares in a chart means that you have to act on something. If you don't, things are going to get real sticky. So, yeah, it is a real complicated week for everyone.
Oh my gosh. Then I guess we better get into the individual reading and see how this coordinates with the next sign up.
Okay, Virgo, the planet Mercury is located in the sign of Leo, and that's giving boldness to the communication. You notice that I highlighted a square on the chart, so you might see what looks like Venus is in a square with the moon. It is also in a square with Saturn. On the 29th, they become conjunct together, and there's an opposition to Pluto in Aquarius. The conjunction is a union of mind and identity, which creates quick thinkers, expressive communicators, a spark of creativity and curiosity, also with a strong focus on ideas and self-expression. Subjectively, it can color your thinking. It also brings heartfelt to originality, especially valuable for artists, writers, and performers. The opposition demands that you find a compromise between your thoughts, communication, and the demand of change from Pluto. On the 29th, you also notice I highlighted a triangle. That is what we call a grand trine, which is a component of a kite. Saying here, it's leading us to the direction of Saturn in Aries. And at the tail, we see the moon in Libra. Now, this opposition between Saturn, the planet of responsibility, and the moon, which is all of your feelings. So to find that compromise, you may feel like you want to go outside and play. But Saturn's saying, hey, you got some chores to do first. How will you work out this compromise? Moving to the 31st, you'll notice there's a T-cross or a T-square, as we say, which is also another component of the kite, and we'll go into that at a later date. At the end of the week, on the 3rd, you will see that the kite we saw at the beginning of the week is still there. But in addition, you're seeing another kite almost perpendicular. Now that one's taking us to the direction of Pluto. So we're feeling pulled in both directions. Aquarius is at the tail. No, Pluto is in Aquarius, and at the tail is Mercury in Leo. And that's creating that opposition, that tug of war between Mercury, the planet of thoughts and communication and technology, in retrograde, and Pluto, the planet of change and transformation. So you must find a compromise between the two. What part of your thoughts or communication will need to change? I will also take a moment to mention that there are 5 planets in retrograde right now. Currently, Mercury, of course, is in 1. Saturn is number 2, and Neptune is 3. Pluto in Aquarius is the 4th one, and on the 30th this week, Chiron joins in to go retrograde, and that makes 5. Dawn, what do you have in tarot?
Well, thank you, Miss Bonnie. Now let's take a look at what tarot says and see if maybe there's some cross-talk in there between tarot and astrology. The cards are not in very conforming mood. They seem very heavy, and then they just all flew out. As soon as I said it, they had to prove me wrong. Okay, I get the point. First card that flew out of the 5, there are 5, just not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5. The first card out, I love it. It's a pentacle, and it is the Knight of Pentacles. This is going to be a busy week, a week of activity, a week of progress, a week of moving forward. The question is, what are you going to do with it? You're going to be taking a lot of energy with you, and this is a Knight. This is a Page of Cups. So again, you're moving into, you're getting some news this week. There's gonna be some news coming to you this week that's gonna make you happy. Some news this week's gonna give you an uplift. It's gonna make you feel like whatever you've been doing for a while is paying off. And that's interesting because we also have the Judgment card, and that Judgment card says, as that news comes in, it's confirmation that what you put out, you got back. Now, let's have a conversation. That Page of Cups is usually good news, but it's also new news. And if you put out some negative stuff, don't be surprised if that negative stuff comes back to you this week. To be honest with you, though, I think you're going to, if you did the negative stuff, you may get a pass this week because I'm getting such a positive energy with those other two cards that maybe this week you get a pass on that one. I love the next card out too, which is the Three of Pentacles. And so the Three of Pentacles, it says when this reward comes in, and it looks, in my opinion, it's coming out as maybe an economic reward of some kind. So it could be money, it could be an inheritance, it could be real estate, it could be a bonus, it could be a trip that you did not plan and was given, or somebody says, hey, come along with me, that kind of deal. Whatever it is, you may need to get some advice on it. Okay, so again, if it's an inheritance, attorneys will probably talk to you and say, hey, based on the will, this is what you're getting. If this is a situation where it's say you just got a windfall in the market, say you were invested in something big and it paid off in a big way, get advice. What do I do next? How do I navigate with this amount of money? How do I navigate with my next purchase? What am I doing? This is a week where it is in your best interest to have conversations with people who have more knowledge than yourself, who can help work you through and help you to benefit, to maximize your benefit that you're getting. And then that Queen is there, that Queen of Cups, and that Queen of Cups, again, is that patient energy. So it's like, you got this, and again, it's reward, paid off. Whatever you've been working on, whatever you've been putting together, this is the week where the reward comes through. So take it as it comes, and look at this, the Sun card. So again, it is a good week for you. On the bottom of the deck, the Justice card. Now it's interesting. Here we had the Judgment card on the bottom, and then we had the Justice card on the top, and then we had the Judgment card, the Justice card on the bottom. This could be actually a settlement of a lawsuit. This could be because this could be legal energy around you, which makes sense if you're getting if you're getting a promotion because you have to sign some papers. This could be a lawsuit that's getting settled. This could be any other criminal action as well that's getting settled in your way, in your favor. Or this could be, again, an attorney talking to you about an inheritance. So whatever this is, there may be an underlying legal connection there, which requires you to meet with an attorney, which, again, is one of those advisors we talked about. So don't be surprised if this week you get a phone call out of the blue. Maybe what you become what we call a laughing heir, someone you didn't even know. It wind up being a family member, and you wind up benefiting because you were, gifted something from the other side in that sense. And we call them laughing heirs because often you get people who are wealthy and they didn't even realize they were related, and they'll just laugh their way to the bank. So this is an interesting week. Lots of positive energy, but something good coming through. Make sure you don't blow it. Don't waste it, because this is an amazing opportunity, and it's something you've been hoping to happen. It's here. So let us know how this resonates with you. And Miss Bonnie, how does that resonate with the astrological side of things?
I think it goes perfectly. In that kite, there's that triangle. That is good, positive energy, and it's a supportive energy. So yeah, I see the correlation.
I see the light. I saw the light. And we're going to help people see the light by hitting that subscribe button. It's in the lower right hand side of your screen. When you subscribe, you will get us in your inbox or your notices on your phone without having to do anything else when we post or when we go live. Additionally, if you are on Sonoran Mystic Tarot's channel, which is mine, I love it and appreciate it, but I would ask that you take one additional step and pop over to Miss Bonnie's channel, which is Your Love Goddess, and hit that subscribe button over there as well. And then while you're hitting and moving and jumping and whatever else, jump on over to Cards and Constellations. It is our channel where we do things together, and these readings will eventually be solely here. So help us grow that channel, and we would appreciate it. Additionally, if you are so inclined, please hit that share button and help us grow the channel that way. And most importantly, don't hesitate to reach out to us should you would like a private reading, or if you just want to chat and give us some feedback. We are open to that. Miss Bonnie, anything before you head out of here?
Nope, I think you summed it all up.
Super. Then with that said, love, light, and blessings from Miss Bonnie's family, my family, she and me, to you and yours. You like the way I spun that around? Anyway, it's all good. Have a great one. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.